A black man has nothing that I want. The majority of the women that's over here that we with on some real, they are not with black men. And it's been that way for many, many years. It's not something we just woke up last week and say, oh, I think I'll divest. I think, let me try something new. I think I'll just date a man of a different race because I ain't got better to do. Nobody just woke up and said that. This has been something that we decided to do for a long time. It's a lifestyle.
Yes, it
It
is.
has nothing to do with black men trying to get them into shape, trying to make them be better men, or just trying to make them think that we're going somewhere, knowing we ain't going no damn where. Ain't nobody got time to play those kinds of games.
I was just thinking, and let me do this while it is fresh on my mind. A lot of what's going on, especially modern women, modern black women, about how they don't respect us and they constantly say, well, we haven't accomplished anything in the United States, talking about black men, and they should date out and open up their options and whatever other kind of silliness that they talk about, right? They call us broke, they call us dusty, they say that we're below par, they can't find men to marry or mate with or anything like that, even though they have babies by us constantly. And you keep hearing this over and over and over again, like they're not proud of being black, really. The accomplishments that black men have done over the past 300-400 years, we never stopped fighting. Now, we weren't conquered. We were sold by our own group of people and put on boats and shipped over here for labor, but we never stopped fighting. In fact, taught the world how to liberate itself, starting with the only successful slave revolt in the history of the planet called Haiti. That was black men. There weren't black women out there sacrificing their lives and getting shot and fighting. They never did that. There were never black women in slave revolts. How many slave revolts did you see black women getting hung and shot and killed with? Wait a minute. The best you can get is Harriet Tubman, and she didn't even leave a slave revolt. She came and she snuck people out of the country. How many black women got killed during the Civil War fighting for our independence, even though it was about money, but black men jumped over the gates and said, we're going for it. And even after emancipation, they put us back into bondage called Jim Crow. We never stopped fighting. All the famous court cases do not have black women's names on it. These are black men fighting. All the cities and towns, the black towns that got started and had to be defended by black men. What are you talking about? Do we have something to be ashamed of? I was telling my good folks on AB Media show last night that the Dalits, the untouchables, it took them 3,000 years to get some kind of equity in India. 3,000 years. You look at all the other groups of people, they're still fighting for equity and independence in their countries. It doesn't happen overnight. Look at, just even recently, look at the Palestinians in Israel. Okay, they've been fighting since 1915, and they're still fighting. Black men have went from slavery to equity and independence in less than 100 years. But we never accomplished anything. We never did anything. We never moved the goalposts. We're absolute positive failures in black women's minds and their eyes. You know what? Maybe Roger's right, okay? Maybe Roger's right. Maybe black women are racist. They don't want to be black. Maybe the majority of black women that spout this nonsense and spout this nonsense about black men don't want to be black. And I believe that. And that's why I did the series of Myth of White Womanhood. They want to be white. So I'm going to start calling these kind of women that talk about black men. I don't want to date black men and black men are failures, all the kind of crap that they talk about black men. I'm going to start calling them failed white women. Divestors and these other kind of negative talking black women that down black men and trash black men and say we never accomplished anything and fail to help black men do anything and rise up. Unless he's at the finish line, start calling them failed white women. Because white women know enough to help that man and pitch in and help that man and teach those little boys to succeed. They don't do that in the black community. They do everything to hold your men back. Not down, but back. White women hold their men down. Black women hold their men back. In other words, they do this stuff backwards. They're hustling backwards, as Tariq Nasheed would say. Every other group of women know that if we're going to get out of this mess and we're going to get out of the hole that we're in, we have to train the boys and make sure that the boys and the men succeed, because they're the ones that are going to forge the path ahead, oppose the environment, and get us out of this and get us ahead. Black women don't believe that. This last election cycle showed what black women believe about black men. They believe that black men are beneath them and they should follow their lead because they believe that they're better than us. Because every time they get any kind of accomplishment, oh, we buy more houses, or we have more degrees, or we have this, that, or the other, they throw it in our faces and say that we are not up to par, that we are not keeping up. Sounds just like the white man, doesn't it? Sounds just like the white women, doesn't it? We're going to hamper you and hamstring you and hold you back and then say that you're not keeping up and then throw it in your faces because you want to use black men as a stepping stool. But you get mad because Brad and the other groups of men don't want you. Yes, they don't want you. That's how come you have the lowest marriage rate of any group in the United States. The lowest marriage rate of any group in the United States, including black men. Black men have 2 million less adults and have almost 1 million more marriages. You have the lowest marriage rate of any group in the United States and the highest divorce rate. How does that happen? How does that happen? And you want to compete against Becky? Becky can keep her man. Becky can keep her marriages together. Becky has a low divorce rate and a higher marriage rate. Becky knows to have her babies within wedlock. Guess who does it? That's you. But you want to blame it all on the men. Because guess what? Because you really don't want to be black. So you're really not crying to us about the failure of black men and us going to jail and us being homeless and us not being economically viable, because you don't care. You want your white daddy to come in and save you because you really want to be with him. You tell him that you gave us an inadequate male partner and you need to fix this or you need to marry us. But the thing is, you can't do it right because you can't treat the man right that he gave you. How does he expect you to treat him right? Because you're going to turn on him too. If a dog bites the old owner, the new owner's not going to take him because that dog bites. So from now on, these kind of women that don't respect black men, talk about black men, talk bad about black, I'm going to start calling them failed white women because that's what you are. No other group talks about their men this way because other group of women are willing to shed blood for their men. Look at what's going on in Gaza, okay? They're doing in women and children. Ukraine, they do in women and children. They suffer right alongside their men. You ain't heard one Ukrainian woman talk about her men being failures, even though they're getting their butts whipped. And heard one Palestinian woman talk about her men, even though they're getting their butts whipped. Same thing in Lebanon, even though they're getting their butts whipped. Native American women never said anything negative about their men, even though they were getting toasted by white folks in the United States, getting toasted. They never said anything derogatory about their men. Black women in the United States are the only women to be derogatory toward their men. The black women in Africa don't do that shit. They don't. They don't do that. Black American women are the only ones that tear down their men. Why? It's not because of hatred. Okay? It's not because of training. It's because they don't like being black. That's why they wear the blonde weaves and the contacts and all the hair hats and the makeup. Is because they hate their hair. They hate the way they look. They talk about featureism, colorism. It's because not because they want to be preferred. It's because they hate what they see in the mirror. They want to be Becky. They want to live in Becky's neighborhood. They want to live in Becky's house and have Becky's countertops and Becky's floor. Now, you don't see them talking about wanting to live in Karen's trailer park, do you? They want the upscale white men to take them away from these no good black men that do them wrong and all this other kind of stuff. Even though white men cheat even more than black men do. White men prefer a broader range of women than black men do. White men are no more faithful than any other group of men on the planet. And white men go all over the planet having sex and traveling, having other women than any other man on the planet. But seeing as soon as a black man does it, he's a passport bro, and he's negative, and nobody wants him, and he's no good, and he's dusty, and he's broke, and every other woman should reject him. Why? Because we can't make you white. First thing he said, what if you really want us to be cooperative and submissive to you, then you need to go and fight the most powerful nation militarily that's ever been seen on the face of the earth. And we're supposed to lay down our lives and bleed for you, for women that don't even want to be black. Why don't you just admit it? And in fact, I think it was this Boule chick back in the 1970s that talked about femininity and talked about wealthy white men and getting money and status from wealthy white men. Just like Bell Hooks did, amongst others. She's not the only one. Black women are failed white women. That's what they are. The divestors, they use the hard ER and all kinds of names and stuff like that for the black man because you're trying to beg the white man to take you. You're trying to convince the white man that you're just as anti-black male as he is. And guess what? The white man says, I'm not even as harsh as you are. I'm not even as anti-black male as you are. Because you're trying to prove to him that you're as white as Becky is. You're trying to prove to him that you're as down as Becky is. And he knows by the way you treat your men that you're not. You haven't been trained. Like we just did a video about this chick not wanting to get a plate for her man. Not wanting to hold down her man when he's in college. Dr. Umar, the black female whisperer, said the exact same thing. A snow bunny is going to invest in him early, pour into him, and reap the benefits afterwards. You black chicks want to wait at the finish line because you don't like black men. You just want to reap the rewards. What you really want is a white man to give you a white, that's like he said, give you a white status and a white middle-class lifestyle. That's what you want. What you really are is a failed white woman that's mad about the failure. So I tell black men, don't worry about them. They don't like you anyway. Okay, it's always going to be Jermaine's fault. You can't win. You're going to be dusty. So you might as well dance in the dust and put on your sandals and put on your dusty hat and exercise your options elsewhere. Leave these failed white women alone. If Brad and Chad want to come in and swoop down and save them, let them save them. If Ken and Carl want to come down and save them, let him save them. If a black woman talks about you and disrespects you and calls you names and talk about what black men are, push her to the side. Hey, you know what? You're a failed white woman. You need to go over on that side and find out how white women do things and go back to white girl school and become a successful white woman on the other side. That's what you need to do. Anyhow, that's all I got for this one. This is BGS out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.